Monday, biceps, cause I crush the whole game. Bring Tuesday, Friday, and Louis Vuitton to this ready. Get their ass in gold and wear them like my neck chain, sucker. I choke you with your own set of sleeves. You can even beat me in the land of make-believe. I will Mr. T-bag you in a closer cemetery. Nobody's gonna miss you, cause all your friends are back.
Hi there, neighbor. I hope you don't mind if I change my shoes. Stop me like I sneak until the battle over. Take blood from your ugly face on my panty loafers. I like you just the way you are, one in a million. Looks like the barber gave your head a Brazilian. I pity your neck, Mr. Gold Chains, you got too many. The only gold I keep is on the shelf in Miami. I keep the whole world full of children, I can tell. You call yourself a thief cause you're too dumb to offend.
Who you call a dumb fool? Mr. T only needs one. Hello? It's for you. Bill Cosby with the sweater. You're a 40-year-old virgin in a dumpy ass house. Apple, murder, hand face, you out. The only pussycat you ever seen is on Henrietta. Well, Mr. McFeely, you live a lot more than letters. So before you come to battle with your PBS crap, how about I call a CPS about your kids on your lap?
What you say is lucky more than luck. I go on with my face on some whack ass thing up. When my plan comes together, you won't even see it coming. If you hit a 4x2, then I'll make cool running. I'll say this once, Lawrence. I hope it's understood. Get right back in your land, get the fuck out of my head.
Hey, yeah! Hold up! Go the hard!
Sometimes you just feel tired. You feel weak. You feel like you want to give up. But you gotta start with you. Find that inner strength. Pull that shit out. And get that motivation tonight. And not be a quitter. I'll let you up. So I go spilling these raps, only spilling to the day that I drop. You'll never say that I'm not killing them. But I am not, and I'ma stop killing them. And I am not hip-hop, and just not Eminem. Criminal thoughts, when I'ma stop sending them. Whipping them, party raps, stripping them, off cinema. Tripping them shots, a penicillin could not get the illness stop. A box of soup just not filling up. The criminal cop killing hip-hop, filling them. Nipple spots, the top niggas are block listeners. Coming with me, sipping on not drinking, I'm sipping like I told you to spit and projects enough. Hear me a lie, look at the stop. Is it a miracle or am I just working the block this enough? So my whistle just a lot, listen up. Guys, listen to this back,
Feel the legs, feel my legs, can't shoot kill the and my eyes, I'm a in my bone, feel the legs, feel my legs, can't shoot kill the and my eyes, I'm a in my bone.
Music is like magic. There's a certain thing when you get, when you rip, when you speak, when people are feeling this shit. This is your moment. And every single minute you spend trying to hold on to it, you may never get it again. So I am ready. Try to get as much as you can. And when you're honest, I'm ready to admit when it's in the thing. Cause I'm at the end of my wits would have to spit the kids in. I got a mix. This the order of my shit. Because it's easy when you taste me too hot. Big Andre from my taking Johnny from broad. I'm the cause of a lie. So when I'm the shit that's not finished, that's why these people don't have enough to stop. Even though people are fucking problem with you. You know respect you. Give me the price. While when you're weak, they keep me.
Feel the legs, feel my legs, can't and my eyes, I'm a in my feel the legs, feel my legs, can't and my heart. I'm a in my
eat it and what is he? I'm not to go with this slow and it's a slur. How people hang on every word. I probably never get the boss. I feel like never be served, but I'll never be served. My spot is forever reserved. If I ever leave her, that will be the 21st. Cause I'm not I don't know if I can make me work. That's why I'm put together every verse. I got act like I'm a I got rap like I'm a I just smack like I'm a on the go forth and back. What's the fact? I sit back and I'm like a phone on attack. I'm out of the truck. I'm so wild and rap. I'm static. Get the fact that I'm good ass up. Status is what?
feel the light, feel my light, can't feel the and my eye, I'm a feel my feel the light, feel my light, can't feel the and my eye, I'm a feel my
All rise. The Honorable Judge, Gigantic Feline now presiding. Bobby Light, you and your entire crew have been charged with multiple counts of felony assault on pizza, cheeseburgers, and various all-you-can-eat buffets across the country. How do you plead?
Your Honor, Chunky as charged.
Oh, here we go. Forget the skinny days. This is the BLBYLIGHT. And I'm fatter than ever. And I'm here with the chunky boys, the man dog, and the one and only little pig. And we're proud to be fat. We're proud to be girthy. So guess what? I guess we're chunky as charged. Forget the daddy, the biggest skinny body line. Big burgers and donuts got me feeling so right. You look so fine. I don't need a 10, I need a double dime. I'm mad on breads, my double chicken. Big man, 2 years, let's see my skin. Something took me down and all in my life. All day, I'm Bobby Light. You know it's all we find. Ain't no sacrifice. Ain't no sacrifice. Not really tough love. When I walk.
Talking about food. So now I'm in this courtroom, this DEA shirt on the logo. I got like a tiny photo, but now I'm about to tell them about the dude on my photo. Tell me
Bobby Light ain't seen this stick in 2 years. Think you care about doing time in the beginning? And you know Lil Pig gonna be our OG. She can't be Muslim, she baby. You know what I'm saying? And he don't care. He got beat up. He got hit by a bull. And the Chunky Boys, which is charged. Guilty. Call Akon. I'm locked up.
What is going on, everybody? I know it's been a while since I posted a video. I hope everybody's gliding well through the weekend and enjoying themselves. If you're not having a good time, I hope you're watching this and it helps you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're seeing this from. Just thought I'd put another video out here. I'm on my way to my little sister's house. I ain't seen her in a little while. Gonna hang out with some family, have some dinner. We're going to go hopefully have some fun. I will put a video up on here after we get done, let you know how the night went. If not tonight, then I will definitely put one tomorrow. I've got some big stuff in the works I'm trying to figure out. I'll let everybody know here pretty soon what it is. Till then, smile more, laugh more, and glide well through the day. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's been a while since I put a video on here. I thought I'd put one out here. I hope you're gliding well through the weekend here, enjoying it. I hope you're having a good time. If not, I hope you're getting to see this way wherever you are. Hopefully it makes you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever it is. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're finally getting to see these videos out here. Hope you're gliding well through the weekend here. And hope you're having a good time. If you're not, I hope you're getting to see this and let it cheer you up. Hope you have a good morning, an afternoon, or an evening, wherever it is you are. I'm just on my way to my little sister's house. Gonna see some family. Have some dinner with them, hopefully have some fun, where we'll all be there having fun. I'll let you know how it goes. I hopefully got some stuff in the works I'm trying to figure out right now, see where everything goes. I'll put a video up here tonight, hopefully let you know how the night went. If not tonight, then I will definitely do one tomorrow. Until then, I hope you get to laugh more and smile more and just glide well through the rest of the week, okay? Have fun.
To make me smile. It's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me, girl? It's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me, girl? Could you love me on a plus? I like 21 questions, and they all backwards. Could you love me on a plus? Could you love me on a plus? I like 21 questions, and they all backwards.
Beat 103, throwback hip hop and R&B. Came to the world of the tech. Came to the world of the time.
Hey yo, chill, man. Why don't you get some of that, you know? You know how you do it, man. It's a trip. People don't even believe we're together right now. But tell your story. You know what I like. Right? Stay for me.
Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm. Into this house we're born. Into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone. Actor unknown. Riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad. Taking a long holiday. Let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet family will die. Killer on the road. Yeah.
It's going for that. With the king bumping in the back. How about that? Drifting, lifting, swifting, coasting, testing, roasting. But the wheels won't stop. 200 on the highway, fresh up off the block. He's a rider, nah, he's a killer. Dressed in all black, but his hat says sellers. Cattle to the left. I gotta go hard, drive by and say hello. Hey, Fred Wreck, you my mellow. Now let me hear what I sound like a cappella. Roll, ride, this way. Now bring it back, just like this. I like it dog, without his bone. I like it cheap, without his crumble. It's hard to imagine. The homie dog in the jag, and he checking for the checkered flag. Coming in first, never in the back.